I'm always looking for ways to improve what I do, and there was a lot of pressure when I was making the Treenails for the thorn to try and get the Treenails down to 1 inch or 0.02 of an inch. And with the juniper that I was using, and I tried some purple heart, some green heart, some other hardwoods that I had accessible to me, I was never really able to get lower than 0.025. And so in the bottom half of the model, that's what I used. Mention was made that what I should really try and do is get some bamboo skewers. Originally, I had trouble finding them, but eventually in a local supermarket, I picked up a few packs, and I had trouble getting them to split. And again, there were videos saying, persevere with it, you'd get it done in the end, but I did not succeed. Before we get deep into the presentation, I'd just like to clarify a misunderstanding that some people have about draw plates. This is the Jim Burns draw plate, and you'll see on the front side, I'm going to call it the front side, where all the letters, writings, and sizes are, there's a recessed hole, and on the back side you just see the final hole. The draw plate works by going through the back side or the non-recessed side, and simply because that's the sharp surface that when you put the treenail through, that's what's going to draw and cut the treenail. If you try to do it through the front side, you're actually squeezing it in. And more importantly, in the unlikely event that you need to sharpen the draw plate, you're going to sand this back side, and that'll give you a nice crisp edge on the hole. If you try to sand the front, all you do is take the numbers off, and of course you'd never get to the correct size hole deep down inside. There are a few videos that mistakenly show the treenail being drawn through the recessed side, and I've actually checked with them, and they all admit it was an oversight, they didn't realize it. So there is only one correct way, and that's through the flat section at the back. Recently I went to Tobago and had some time on my hands, and so I thought I'd brought the skewers with me and all the various tools, and thought I'd try and develop a technique to get these small treenails down to 0.020 of an inch or smaller. And I have to tell you, after persevering, I came up with a method, and I'm just going to show it to you now. We take a skewer out of the pack, put it on the anvil, and start to smash it. And what we end up doing is creating a series of breaks in the skewer, and you can pull it along and you start to get it to split in half. You come back and look for another crack, and if there isn't one in this case, you can do two things. One is try and smash it again. So I've ended up with a crack, and pull it along. Or another technique I found is useful sometimes is you take your knife, put it in the center of the skewer, push it down, and simply pull the skewer apart, and again that'll give you a crack, a split, and you pull it through. So I'm now starting to get nice long pieces. Come back on this one, right in the center here. You need a nice sharp knife, but more important than that, you need a blade that is very pointy and then gets sort of wide. And what that allows you to do is put it on the split piece and push it along, and then you pull the back in, and that allows you to really get a nice long continuous split. So this is a Japanese knife I picked up some years ago, a Japanese carving knife. But the truth is, any blade that's a little fat that goes down to a sharp point will work fine. Now you might think that, well, this is to throw away, this is too small. But in fact, that's not true. So I come right to the end of this very thin piece. I come to the draw plate, remember using the back part of the draw plate. And this is such a small piece. This is way, way below what my goal is. And I push it through and start pulling it through. And of course, you need this puller. So it just broke on us there. Now I can come back and go to the finest hole. So you can see I've gone through there and I'm pulling this through. And I'll try again. And we take the digital caliper and see what we've gotten here. And this is 0.014. So that's absolutely fantastic. I can continue either with larger pieces like this. And again, I come back to this method of putting it on the mat, pressing down, pulling, getting my split. And again, I come back. Here is this piece, is the Jim Burns draw plate. So we're putting it through. As soon as I reach where I can't pull it anymore, back to the puller. And again, this one is 0.020, and the bottom here I'm going to be much smaller, 0.009. So I can decide what this particular tree nail, what do I want to go to. Now, one of the techniques you're going to have to learn, particularly with the fine one, is to put the Jim Burns draw plate up to the light so you can find the hole and push the piece in. But otherwise it becomes very difficult to see. So I'm not sure if you see all the holes light up, particularly these smaller ones here. I'm going to come down and go as small as I can. And so we've just pulled it down 0.12. If you're trying to get down to a tree nail of 0.020, which is 1 inch in scale, you don't want to be starting to pull through the draw plate a blank stock that is 0.120. Not that it can't be done, but you're going to have a lot of work. It's going to be very frustrating and very hard. So what you need to do is to get these pieces down as small as possible, slightly bigger than the draw plate. When I first started this exercise, I was using almost a full gamut of holes on the draw plate. Now I really start on the smallest section most of the time. Sometimes if I'm good at splitting the piece, I'm actually almost halfway down the hole selection. One of the techniques you'll learn is you need to get enough of the tree nail through the hole. So what I tend to do is find a hole that will go through, and then I turn it till I get enough through that the puller can pull it through. And this little technique of twirling really makes it quite easy. So in this case, for instance, I'm not getting it to go more than that. I'll go back one. And you can see I've got quite a bit through, and now it's very easy to pull it. And we can go back into that hole now and do the same thing. And we get enough for the puller to grab it. The key to being very productive is really getting these as thin as possible before you even go to the draw plate. In the early days of me starting off with this, I was using big pieces like this, trying to pull it through, and that's a lot of hard work. Even this piece, which is half the size, I would come back here and try and split this piece in half. Again, just pulling it through, which gives me the split I want. And then I pull them together at the back and then just pull it through. And I've got two nice thin pieces. And so we're starting with this one. You go until it's easy. And that went straight down to 0.020. So this is an exercise that I think you can do whenever you have time on your hands and not sure what exactly you're going to do. It's something that will help you pass the day on a really cold winter day or a hot sunny day in the desert. Either way, it's nice to build up a good stock of treenails for use later on in your modeling life. So I know you're going to think, well, boy, he doesn't get them that small that often. Well, over 4 days, half an hour, hour at a time, I just want to tell you, this is a stack of treenails. This is over 1 inch in diameter if you pulled it together. So they clearly must be on a model ship, easily 6,000 to 8,000 individual treenails that you could put on the model with this stack, which took about 4 hours. So my early criticism then of bamboo skewers was totally incorrect. This is a fantastic way. In fact, I would argue probably the best way, once you learn the technique, of splitting the pieces up into multiple small pieces that you can pull out and get a stack of treenails like this at very, very small sizes. One of the main benefits, of course, is keeping a large stock of treenails. These are the ones I recently cut. These are some larger ones. So again, I have little notes in them that give me the size, so I can determine what treenails I have. You really don't want to be making treenails in the middle of a build. You really want to come to a supply that you've generated and just pick stuff up. I'm going to keep this video short. This is late in 2022, and we're going to get back to the thorn. And I hope you have a wonderful new year of successfully modeling whatever ship you're working on. See you in the new year, and remember, keep modeling.